So, I mean, what that did in effect was make my studio fun again. And it's just turned it into my
Dude, you need to make
place.
a
And I've
hat.
been make your studio fun again.
Make your studio fun again. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Podular Modcast. My name is Tim Held, and this is Podular Modcast. This week we have Graig Markel on the show, and I'm pretty excited. I always love a good chance to hang out with my buddy Graig. Graig is half of Recovery Effects, and he is all of the Animals at Night, who made our lovely theme song for PodMod. I used to play in a band with Graig way back in the day. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the Mystic, which they just released or just did the pre-order for, and you can order it now, and it'll be shipping soon. But it's a really cool little desktop synth. In fact, if you're watching the video, you can see me unplugging mine right now off screen and now holding it up to the screen. There's not very good lighting right now, so sorry. The video thing is new. I'm enjoying trying to do the videos, but it's a lot. It's weird. I've never done this. I've been doing the show for 5 years. I didn't realize how much of a procedure I had for doing the intros and editing and everything and the demos, and now that's completely shaken up. So I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, do I look at the camera right now? I haven't been, but then I will every once in a while. So yeah, again, please be patient. There might be some, like for instance, here's a nice hiccup. In today's episode, you'll notice that in the video for the episode, there's like these blue lines on my face. That's because I was using my camera as a webcam, and I have those blue lines tell me what's in focus when I'm shooting things. I didn't realize that those would translate over to the video on the episode. So yeah, I'm apologizing for that. That's what I'm trying to say. Also, there might be other things like continuity errors, like maybe some things won't match up. I'm going to try to avoid that as much as possible, but it could happen. Like I said, still ironing out the kinks. I'm really stoked. I just got the Novation Summit, which is blowing my mind right now. It's so much fun. I'm just wrapping my head around what it is. It's basically, 16 voice polyphony. You can do all this really cool stuff, like stacking the voices or splitting the keyboard and having two different voices on each side. Really, really good onboard effects and modulations, some really cool cross modulation stuff. Pretty sweet waveform options for your oscillators. So you're going to be hearing a lot about Summit and from Summit in the near and distant future, probably. Speaking of Summit and hearing from it, let's just tune our ears to this little jingly jangly thing that's popping up behind me. I'm working on this track. This will be my holiday track. I'm hoping to make a couple, but I need your holiday music for the PodMod Holiday Extravaganza episode. Y'all know how I feel about holiday music. It kind of sucks, but it doesn't have to, and we can be the change that we want to see in the world. And if we all make some cool stuff and you send it into me, and then I collect it all into like this hour to an hour and a half kind of radio show of holiday music, you could tell all the family members like, hey, let's listen to this holiday music, and they'll be like, hey, wait a minute, you never want to listen to holiday music. Maybe you're growing up, maybe you're changing, maybe some ghosts visited you in the middle of the night and showed you your past and future or something. But no, you put on the PodMod episode, and yeah, there's going to be some good stuff, but there's going to be some weird stuff too. So I lost the thread of everything that I'm talking about. But anyways, yeah, send them over. I like WAV files, podmodcast@gmail.com. Please get those into me as soon as you can. Would also like to say thank you to the folks over at Patchworks Seattle. It's my favorite synth shop in all of the land. They have a beautiful showroom. You could probably pick yourself up a Novation Summit there, and a Recovery Mystic, and probably half of the stuff that is in my case. So visit them at patchworks.com. That is patchwerks.com. While you're there, you can check out their After Later Audio section. That's right. I would also like to thank After Later Audio for their continued support of Podular Modcast. Some new modules just released from After Later last week, including one that's going to show up in today's demo, and that is the Razor, which is a 1-to-1 blades. What else is showing up in today's demo? Some pretty cool stuff. Board Brain, they just sent me the Injector, which is a very cool module. It is like an envelope follower gate. Oh, hold on, let me start over. Basically, you've got a 1/4 inch in for your line level instruments that you can extract gates and envelopes off of, and then you can pass straight through, so you can keep your line level, or you can bring it up to Euro levels. It also has in this like built-in distortion with a bunch of different parameters on it, which actually sounds pretty dang good. So we're gonna check that out. What else do we got here? Oh, thank you to 4MS. Just today they showed up. I've got the new shuffling clock multiplier and the shaped dual envelope VCA. So basically I'm using all of these modules that I just mentioned, along with the Nautilus and Aurora from Qubit. So that's my delay and my reverb. I basically made a dual wah-wah pedal out of the Razor, or the 1-to-1 blades. So like a low pass and a high pass, and I think it turned out really, really cool. So why don't we check out a little guitar lick on that, and then yeah, maybe we'll get into the show. How does that sound? Is this camera thing working? Is it better? Is the show better now? Thanks for coming back to Podular Modcast. One, and we're live with Graig Markel of Recovery Effects. I should have told you this before we started recording, but I might have to get up in a minute or
to go to the
at
bathroom.
Some point to go to the bathroom. No,
potty motty.
My Novation Summit is being delivered today, and I have to sign for it.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I am. So I've got the windows open, and I'll be keeping an eye out for that. So I might have to jump up really quick and go grab that. But hopefully it shows up afterwards. So
yeah, well, no, hopefully it shows up. Hopefully it shows up while we're doing this podcast, so you can go down and grab it and plug it in.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, then we could do a little jam.
We can do a little jam.
So, what you been up to? How you been? Haven't talked. Well, we text regularly, but I haven't talked to you in a while. Probably.
I've been getting ready for this big old Mystic launch on the 1st, and we've been building and doing demos and stuff like that. And I had a birthday last week, so that was pretty fun.
Happy
and
birthday.
had some
Got my Mystic right here.
nice. Yeah, that looks cool. That looks cool
Super
on the.
fun, dude.
And what else? I'm gearing up for a trip to Nebraska next week
Going
to
to see
help my
mom?
mom to help her move.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's gonna be a little stressful, but it should hopefully it'll be some fun times too.
Is
And
brother Nick going?
I just decided this was a kind of a last minute deal, so
Okay,
yeah, it's just me going.
right on. Oh, Z's
But
not going either?
yeah, just me, just to kind of just to be some just the muscle.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Be a good son. Bring that fucking, that flex that you just roll with all the time.
Yeah,
Just bring
and
that up.
help her drive across the. She's moving to the other end of the state, so from the
Okay.
like Omaha area to like Scottsbluff area.
Okay. Is this time of year? Is it like, what's the snow situation around there? Is
Uh,
there a possibility that
it's
you'll have
it's
snow?
it's okay right now, but I mean, hopefully not. Hopefully it'll be
Okay.
okay. And
Hmm.
but it's December, so
Yeah.
be ready for
Yeah.
anything.
We we didn't even get fall this year. It was
No,
weird.
it was
Just like
it
straight
was
into winter.
super nice up here in the Seattle area. We had lots of sun, which is not very yeah
It's becoming
for
more
this
and
time of the
more
year.
of a regularity. I feel like since I've moved here, I feel like Seattle and the just like the general like Northwest Puget Sound area has been, hot summers, and like even up until today, the last few weeks have been like crisp, cold but sunny blue sky days, which
Yeah,
is just
well,
crazy.
hot summers, but dude, last year was brutal with
Yeah.
the winter was so dreary, and I think we broke a record in the
Hmm.
Northwest for rain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that was.
think so. And
I
for
mean, I'm
heat.
usually okay with the rain up here. It's okay with me, kind
Yeah.
of. Then you get the drizzly stuff. It keeps things clean and
Hmm.
green and stuff. But I think last year was the first time where it really started getting to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that capping off the fucking 2 years of just insanity of the pandemic and everything too,
Yeah, that was great. I want to get back to that.
Hell yeah, dude. Um
So
so I want to let's fucking rap about the Mystic for a minute. I fucking love this thing. It's super fun. Uh like what was the inception? I feel like you've maybe been talking about doing this for a while, or I know that you have told me and you have talked quite a bit about your desire to do some sort of like desktop semi-modular something or other for probably since pre-pandemic.
yeah,
Is
well,
is that kind of
just
what
kind of
like, yeah.
just kind of wanting to do an FM synth that had the features CVable. I thought would be really cool.
Hmm.
Um, and I felt like there really wasn't a desktop synth that did that. So that's the way it kind of started. And yeah, I've been working on it for a while. There's a few things in the in the in in the works, and but that's the one that kind of got together the quickest and has been together for a while. So yeah,
Okay.
so all the controls are CVable, except for the delay portion of it. But the delay time is CVable though.
Right. It's just you can't do the feedback and the mix, right? Those are the only two knobs on it that aren't CVable, but everything else is.
Yeah, yeah,
And then the volume. Um,
and the volume, of course.
does the volume is the volume like at top top volume? Is that still like line level?
It's the line level.
Okay.
It doesn't it doesn't work with Eurorec levels, although it accepts voltage,
Hmm.
CV voltage. It's if you want to use it with your Eurorec system, you need level converter. I use the
Yeah, I just
Strymon
got
guide. What is it,
this.
like the A1 or whatever? AA1.
Yeah, I've seen that one. I just got this exchanger from Board Brain. Have you seen that?
Oh, I've seen
It's
it. Yeah,
it's
I
pretty
I
cool. because it goes
Yeah, it
both
is
ways.
super cool.
It's got 6 ins and outs, so you can do stereo, you can do 2 stereo, or 4 mono, to like pedals, and then like you could do 1 stereo or 2 mono from line level into Euro levels. So that's actually I just on the episode that I released today with Dan Green from 4MS, I actually did like a jam with the Mystic and like a bunch of other cool stuff that I've got recently, and I used the exchanger to get it in there. And yeah, it's just nice to like, especially with like how compact this is, the Mystic. It's just really easy to throw into the mix, which I really like. Um,
Yeah, I've been really and speaking as far as inspiration goes, I've just been really into desktop synths, my guitar, um, interfacing my guitar with my pedals, and yeah, so there's been a lot of a mixture going on of modular desktop stuff and guitar, and I think that it's just really, I don't know, I feel really inspired to uh, do stuff out of the Eurorack format. So
mhm.
it just allows for a little. I think it's allows for a little bit more creativity, I think.
Yeah, it's I went over to my friend Steven and Jenny's house this weekend, and I usually bring like my modular synth over there because Steven has his piano, and we sometimes we do little jams. But I just brought the Mystic, the Strega, my Soma Enter, and then uh, the BeatStep Pro. And then after like I packed that up and brought it over there and was like messing with it, all of those things together, like actually I didn't even use the Enter. I was just using like Mystic and Strega and the Beat Step. I was just like, oh my God, this is like such an easy little setup that is super powerful. That you can kind of sit down and you can use some patch chords, but you don't need a whole. It it was just like a nice refresher to be like, oh yeah, you don't have to like spend an hour and a half like plugging things in like to get to making music. And it was like, maybe the next time I play a show I'm gonna like just bring this little tiny kit because you could go pretty far
Yeah,
with it.
yeah, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, that's a good idea to do. I was just thinking doing a demo with the Key Step Pro or B Step Pro.
Hmm.
That's I should do that.
Yeah, I mean it works. Like Mystic and Strega are just like super fun together. um
I've been
just
really having
yeah.
fun with MPC, uh, sending voltage out of that into the Mystic. It's super fun.
Yeah, nice. Oh,
Um,
I bet that's great for this. Yeah, because like could you like live sample into it or while you're doing that or
You could. Usually, the way I use the MPC is I use it, primarily as a drum machine,
hmm.
of course, and I do I use the plugins quite a bit on there. But I also just I create MIDI tracks and CV tracks and send them out to Real Synths. And
Okay.
and then at that point, I'm kind of composing that way. I'll usually compose for a couple nights on something new, and then dump those tracks into a looper or straight into live.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
I never usually resample into the MPC one, although you can. But I find it's just kind of quicker to use it as a sketch pad for CV and MIDI and stuff.
Okay.
And oh yeah, and yeah, with the ability to use with chords and progressions and stuff that the MPC has, it's really that's really useful too. I don't
Dude,
necessarily
it's
need to
yeah, you're
sample
talking about
back
the
into
one,
it, but
right?
the live or one, yeah.
Yeah, so I got that after talking with you about it. And then, I used it a little bit and all the features and the interface and everything. I was like, this is amazing, but it just sat and I just didn't find myself really. It's not that I didn't so much click with it, I just never used it. So I ended up selling it. And yeah, so
I'm sorry,
I'm
you
just
cut out there. What'd you say?
I got the
It's not so
MPC.
much.
Yeah, I didn't. I
Yeah,
got the MPC after talking with you about it and seeing how much you were doing with it, and it just sat in the box. Like I really liked the interface and everything, but it's not that I didn't gel with it. It's just I don't know. it's hard for me to use like stuff that's not Euro with my Euro stuff. I don't know why that is, but just recently, like after getting the Mystic, and I'm borrowing this BeatStep Pro, I'm hoping the person I borrowed it from will let me like trade or buy it from them. But they're pretty cheap, so if not, I can just get one. But after like I've been also trying to write a lot with guitar. Like I wrote this really cool track, like this really cool song with guitar. Probably the first thing I've written on guitar since I've gotten into modular. Like I've like that I started with and wrote completely on guitar. And I'm trying to make just like simple drum beats on my modular, and I don't have like a dedicated sequencer. I just have like the pachinko, which is the marbles, and the idum, which you can create really cool beats with, but I can't like make the exact beat that I want. And I was like, I'm just going to try the BeatStep Pro. And within like minutes, I was like, oh, I was spitting like an hour and a half the other night trying to get a beat, but this literally took me 2 minutes to do this. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I need this. I need the BeatStep Pro. And I'm actually starting to think like after my live set that I played in Portland that I think I really fucked up because I had 12 U, let's see, 9, 10, 11. Anyway, I had like two different cases that were like communicating with each other with that Dopefer thing with the Cat 6 cable. And I had so much stuff molted out that I had one little thing unplugged, my like a trigger for my hi-hat voice, and it was just like created chaos, and it took me a few minutes to get it. And this is like mid set, so I had to like it was glitching out and it didn't sound good glitch, so I had to like figure it out. And I'm just like, fuck, man, like I was really hoping to play a really cool set, and now I'm starting to think like if I just got like one of those little 4MS pods with my main like Morphogene STS and whatever flavor of the day, yeah, and then something like the BeatStep Pro, Mystic, Strega, it's like it'd be so much easier to keep track of it. So like if something did go wrong, it'd be easier to track down, and just less time spent making the patch and more time practicing it before I played live. I don't know. That was a huge
Yeah.
rant. I don't really know where I was going with that, but
No, I know how it seems like the less stuff you have, the more able you are to control it. And there's, yeah, I mean, that goes all over in the music world for me. The less instruments I have in my possession, the more I concentrate on the things that I need to be playing to get, to be proficient and good.
mm-hmm,
So yeah, I just go through. I mean, as a gear maker, and as a gear lover, I'm constantly like bringing stuff into the mix because I love it,
mm-hmm,
and testing it out and trying it. But I always tend to go back to the most like simplest setup, and my Eurorack setup isn't anything like extravagant. It's 104 HP. Has all my necessities in there. I don't
you
think I've
do like
changed anything.
6U. You have a
Yeah,
6, yeah. Yeah, you've kind of maintained that like relatively small case
yeah. The only
throughout.
thing I think I've changed is I put the new cutting room floor in there, and that was like a year ago. And I have a little case that I pull stuff in and out of to test.
Mm-hmm,
And but for not for my own modules, but to test other people's, try things out and stuff like
mm-hmm,
that, and see what makes the cut. And I just love checking out other people's modules, so um, there. I just remember a day where I was just so, when I first got into Eurorack, and you were the same way too. We just had, I just like, I gotta have the biggest case I possibly can
mm-hmm,
because I
mm-hmm,
gotta fit
mm-hmm.
all of this stuff in here because I'm just, I was basically just collecting stuff and figuring out what I wanted and needed for my own
Mm-hmm.
setup. Once I figured it out, it was just like, okay, well, I need the smallest case possible.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I I've been trying really hard to make my 7U make noise case like just have that and use that as my like live setup and everything. And it's perfect size for going and doing like the remote performances that I do out in the woods and stuff. But I've yet to be
yeah,
able to like really create a set on it, that I could feel like I could play for like a half an hour and really like rock. But now I'm just like, yeah, because I need something really easy like the BeatStep Pro. to like make my sequences and then make programs that I can switch in between, because once I get it all like patched up, and if I'm using Pachinko and IDOM, then like you can switch in between stuff there, but with not with as much like specificity and intention, you know. Um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's interesting that
yeah.
you'd gravitated towards the Beat Step Pro, because between the um, I had got the Key Step Pro kind of thinking I would do the same thing that I wanted to do with the MPC, and I ended up kind of like the MPC was my solution to it,
Mhm.
and my Key Step I don't really ever use that much. As a matter of fact, I just bought a case for it so I could sit it in the closet. I was like, I don't think I need to get rid of this, because I think it could be really useful, especially because of the key feature on it. Like
Mhm.
I need to, yeah, it's got to be useful. It's,
Yeah.
it's going to be a
Yeah.
point where I need a controller and
And it's not like it's
hold on
such
to
a
it.
high dollar item that like you could, you know, it's like I
Yeah,
think
exactly.
it's worth
It's
keeping
one of those
around for that
utility things.
moment.
It's just like you
Yeah.
just got to keep around.
Yeah, totally. And I have a lot of stuff like that that I used to get rid of, and now like when I'm like maybe thinking about texting you and being like, "What's on the chopping block?" You know, when I'm looking at what I'm down to trade, that kind of utility stuff tends to like not make the cut anymore, because it's like I've
Yeah,
got
you
rid
just
of
end up
stuff like this before. I'm just gonna hold on to that, you know.
you're just going to end up buying it again. But
Oh, dude, I just bought another Bastel ABC mixer. I've had two of them now, because it's
dude,
just the you
that's
don't. It's awesome.
anytime you buy something twice, once you don't need it again, just put it in the closet.
Yeah.
And after a while it'll become vintage, it'll be worth some money. But
Yeah.
your dude, if he ever if he needs his beat step back sometime, I have the key step in the closet, so
Well,
you
can you
can
do like
take that for a
the
spin.
as much beat stuff with the key
It's
step?
exactly the same, except it has a
Oh, and okay. So you can just like
key bed
write
on
in.
it as well.
Okay. And it's got okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I'll let you know. There was something else I want like along these lines that I wanted to. Oh yeah, I'm just kind of curious. Like because I like you and I think that's one of the things that we bonded on. Well, actually, like why we became friends, because I got so into your pedals back like a long time ago. But you know, we always talk about gear and shit. So what's the latest or newest thing that's got you the most excited that you've played with?
Well, this isn't modular, but I have it sitting here to show PodMod viewers in the world.
Oh, dude, I can't believe you got a Strat. You've
I,
changed so much. You also
man,
got a Les Paul.
I'm growing up.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, yeah, somebody commented that I'm basically getting old and just needed a guitar that was comfortable. I've never been a Strat kind of person. I've never owned one in my life, but I really like. Um, I have come to the realization. I don't know. Can I talk? Can I? Is it cool if I talk guitars on PodMod?
I'm totally fine with that. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I got
Um,
three of them sitting behind me in
oh
this
yeah.
fucking shot right there. So,
So I never thought I was a Strat person, but I've realized over the years that I am a 25.5-inch neck guy. Telecasters, Jazz Masters, that kind of thing, and I love my Telecaster. And I was playing the Strat a while back, and I thought it was really cool. It has the feel and the intonation that a 25.5 neck has. Um, And so I went to go see Corey Wong a couple weeks ago, and at the Moore, and
mhm.
he has his own Stratocaster. I'm like, man, he makes a Stratocaster look cool, and
Yeah,
they sound cool. And so I happened to I was in Emerald City Guitars, and I saw it and I fell in love, and the rest
it's
is history.
beautiful.
It's
I
here.
really like that. Like, it's like got that like matte like wood finish, right? That even has like
Yeah,
the
it's weird. The finish is really weird on it, which I thought was acceptable for. I guess the thing about Strats is that they're just not very unique looking.
yeah. I don't like the
Um,
way they look. That's why I've never had one. But Yeah, Dean Ween and Stephen Malkmus both play him, and I'm like, well, those are two of my favorite guitarists. So
I know, and like Jimi Hendrix played a Strat, and he made it look cool somehow. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not
but he
Jimi
was like
Hendrix, so
one of the most iconic fucking like one of the coolest. Like he's just one of the coolest looking people. The Strat
I
was just
guess if
part of it, you know.
you have to start it on fire, I guess,
Yeah, yeah,
make it look
right. You
cool,
need to get a headband.
and a headband.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so there's that, and then I got a Buchla.
Did you?
This yeah,
What
just
like a
recently,
easel?
an easel. I actually have it
Really?
plugged in here. Check it out. I have a patch going on.
Can you? I can't hear it. Oh, ooh.
Let me know if it gets too loud.
So far, so good. Dude, when did you get an easel? Are you running through that through any effects?
That's the online reverberation. That's in the booklet itself.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I'm no I'm no Kyle Swisher yet, but pretty soon I'm going to be rocking this thing like Lisa Belladonna.
Hell yeah.
That's going to take a few years, but
Yeah. Do you
maybe
still have your
in a couple
Surge?
weeks I'll learn some new patches. Yeah, um, I have I have the Surge, and I'm actually, dude, I'm building another one, but it's been slow moving. I have I always used to be I was always like building something on the side,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be like a preamp or whatever. But I have right now I'm building a guitar, and
Oh,
it's just been really slow moving because I'm just building so much of my own stuff, and we're constantly getting PCBs in to verify, and that's what I mean. All of my building time is basically spent with my own stuff right now. But hopefully, sometime soon, this next year, get that guitar finished, and I want to finish that Buchla, and yeah, or I'm sorry, the Surge, and I want to do all sorts of stuff. There's a list of things, dude,
yeah. Oh,
and
dude,
there's just
you're
not enough
always.
time.
No, I'm right there with you. Like, I really want to make an album right now. But between like the podcast and my jobs and yeah, now doing the video for the podcast, like that's just a whole, extra, huge chunk of work to do. And yeah, just oh yeah, never have the time to like, it's like
I
Hannah's like,
picked
"Are
up your
you
record,
done
by the way,
working?"
the latest one. It's really cool.
Oh, Kitty
But yeah, I
Safari?
figured you didn't. Yeah, the Kitty Safari is really cool. I suppose you didn't get a notification like you would on your own because it was put out by somebody else rather than you.
Right. Yeah.
Self-centered.
Yeah, it's on Mystery Circles.
Yeah.
Got them on cassette. I think there are some left, but yeah, we tracked that probably over a year ago. And then we tracked it all in one day, other than like I wrote bass parts and actually had David Lutz play a few of them because he's really good at bass, and then I added a lot of like hand auxiliary percussion with like brushes and even I don't know if do you ever see my green chopsticks? Like I use them all the time, like for percussive stuff. I've used them. They're like hard plastic green chopsticks. So
No.
so other than like those things, everything was tracked at Steven's house in one night, and then I spent a few months like mixing and putting it all together and trying to make it make a little more sense. But yeah, I'm super proud of that record. It's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It sounds really cool. I love the
yeah,
I love the collaborations you do with him. I
yeah.
love the
Steven's a great
organic.
pianist. Yeah,
Yeah, it adds. I mean, I generally that's my favorite kind of stuff, is mixing electronic with real instruments, guitar,
Hmm.
whether it be guitar, piano,
Yeah, I've
drums,
actually
stuff
been
like that.
thinking about you a lot in the context of this new record that I want to make because like I plan on writing everything either on piano or on guitar, and and I want there to be some pretty fucking sick uh, guitar solos on it. And
Dude, I'll lay
you're the guy that I want to go to because you can fucking shred. You like I was like, well, I can't wait to write
I'll lay
solos, and I'm
down
like, why would
solos
I?
all over your record.
Yeah, I was like, why would I do that when you know, Greg's one of my best buds and he's a fucking slayer. So yeah,
Send it over my way.
yeah, I got to track it first. But did I tell you about the Una Corda?
Oh, um, yeah, I've heard you play it on a couple episodes at
Hmm.
and Annie, actually, is the last one. Or I guess it was a couple episodes ago now.
Hmm.
But yeah. So and you were saying that Steven built it.
Well, so yeah, he didn't build it. So Steven has wanted to make one for a really long time. Do you know the concept of them? It's just like
It's
one
basically a
string per
piano
key.
with one string per
Yeah,
key. Yeah.
exactly. So he's been kind of keeping his eye out for like an upright that somebody was going to give away for free, like but that was small, you know, like I think this what is it 64? This might be a 64 key or something. It's not very big.
Oh, that's super. That's super small.
Yeah,
So yeah, because I mean, like a small roads is like 72,
it's
73 key.
64 or
Yeah.
72, but I think it might be 64. I'll have to count it one time. But during the pandemic, he hit me up. He's like, "Hey, there's these people down in one of like the town south of Tacoma that's like super rural. I don't remember. But he's like, they're giving away this upright and it's perfect. We can make an una corda out of it. So we went down there during the pandemic, like still shit was still like kind of closed down. And when we got there, like the dude opened the door or the lady opened the door and she's like, "Oh, hey, just so you know, like my husband and my whole family have COVID." Like, you could have let us know that before we made like the 35-minute drive down here. But we're like, all right, let's put masks on and just get in and get out. And that's like, we were there for like 5 minutes, loaded this thing up. And then it just sat in Steven's garage for probably like 5 or 6 months, um, maybe longer. Yeah. Cause I mean, he just brought it over like, right, basically around the time that Velocity was. But yeah, it was going to be like a project that I was going to help him with, although I don't know how to do anything. But he's like a piano technician. He owns his own business for it, and you know we kept going back and forth, like, "Hey, let's find time to get together and work on the Una Corda." And then one day he just texted me. He's like, "It's done. So if let's just bring it over to your house." So he tuned it when he
Wow.
brought it here, but now it's been sitting for a few months with the weather changing and like acclimating to the room. So he needs to tune it again. The lower register is a little out, but man, playing it with the damper pedal and playing it super quiet, it just sounds so nice.
Yeah, I imagine
So,
it's probably a little easier to tune than a regular, because you only have one string per.
yeah,
But still, I mean, there's an art to piano tuning.
definitely.
It's a. I mean, you just don't put your tuner up to it
Hmm.
and I mean, I guess you can if you had their software for it and stuff, but it's
Well, I was surprised for
and the
his
offset
business.
and
Yeah, for his business, you know I was excited for him to come over because I wanted to see like how he does this because he tunes for so many people around here and he has like contracts with like a couple schools, so he's like tuning like you know he's the real deal. And I was really surprised to see that it's a what do they call it? Is it a strobe or spectral? Like the super accurate ones. Is it strobe?
oh, strobe.
Yeah. It's just a strobe app on his fucking phone. I was like, "You use your phone?" And he's like, "Yeah, super accurate." And I was like,
That's
"Oh,
cool. The
that's really cool."
so yeah, the guy that does the tuning for mine, he's that's Blind Mike,
Yeah,
and
I was gonna say he's blind guy, right? Yeah.
yeah, he actually uses a tuning fork. There's a guy I was using before that had a software app. There, I guess so the challenging thing with them is that you have they because of the equal temper tuning situation. You have to kind of offset going up and going down from middle C.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, Steven is probably using his ears and his and to adjust for it and getting it so
Yeah,
it sounds good,
he is.
throughout the keyboard.
It's like you get him going. He's been telling me lately. He's like, because he's in like a piano tuners guild, like a piano technicians guild, and he goes to the meetings and stuff. And he's like, I'm so surprised with how many people that do this for a living don't actually understand how like music actually works and how like the physics of it actually works. And so he's really, really particular. And I forgot like what this whole like area is of that he pays extra attention to. What is it called? Fuck. But he's just like, and because he started with, he built pipes for pipe organs, like full
Oh,
on.
that's the same dude you were telling me about before.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
yeah, so he built like not just like the ones that are like part of a fucking structure. You know, he would fly to other states to build these, and so he did that for years. So yeah,
I bet you he
um,
could make a rad wind chime.
yeah, no, he totally. I actually, I'm trying to convince him that me and him need to like come up with some like kind of crazy acoustic instrument that, you know, some sort of mixture and just kind of like try to make something crazy. But he has two fucking grand pianos in his
You should
house.
do some cool wind chimes, man. That
Yeah,
would
I
be
know. I
rad. And
want to
different
make like,
scales and like super accurate. That'd be
yeah,
rad.
yeah. I think that would be super fun. Well, yeah, he gave me like this sheet where it tells you like um I don't know if how much diameter has to do with it, but it's like it's very specific lengths to diameter ratios for specific notes and stuff. Because I used to get a bunch of extra conduit when I was electrician. I was like, it'd be cool to make like a fucking xylophone out of this or something. But um, yeah,
But it's not ideal. Tonally, you're
no,
saying?
well, no, it's just I just never found the time. But all I would have to do is like cut. You know, if I had quarter inch or half inch conduit, just like if I got seven of them or eight of them or something, and then like cut them all to the specific lengths, I could have my 8 notes or whatever. Um, but yeah, just never really got around to taking the time to do it. But um, have you seen? I want to try to make something that's kind of along the lines of those. I forgot what it's called, but they're basically like these metal like columns. They're like square columns with these like rods coming off, and you rub your fingers on them, and it's just like the friction of you
What?
rubbing your finger on it like makes this crazy like woo kind of like, is it called like a euphonium or something like that? I'll
I'm
send
totally
you a
lost.
link.
I don't know what you're
It's
talking
fucking
about.
cool, but man, we are really in the weeds right now. Um,
Yeah, totally. Okay. The basic points, the important things. The Mystic. Buy it. Go to
Buy it.
recoveryeffects.com. Get that thing. What else?
So wait, the pre-order though,
Podular Modcast. We got Kitty Safari. You got to buy it. You got to go to Bandcamp.
buy
Do
it.
it.
Go to patreon.com/podular modcast to help me not have to stress out so much about my financial situation and not have to have three jobs. I'd appreciate
Totally.
that.
You gotta give him some money. Go do it.
Yeah.
What else? What else? What other areas do we need to hit here? That
um, well, do you have any like actually I do I had a specific question about the Mystic, and if this is like if I don't want like if you don't want to tip your hand too much on like the design and everything, then I can edit this part out. But I did notice that you're using a Teensy on here.
it's actually an Arduino
Oh, that's an
Nano.
Arduino. Oh, I see. Yeah, I can see the blue now that I'm looking at it. Um, so is this something that you could write other firmwares for and kind of have
Yeah, and that is that could be a possibility in the future for sure.
nice? Yeah, I mean, like, because I've with this form factor, it's got a lot of knobs and shit. Like, I imagine you could just like really get crazy with it, and just have a bunch of different firmware options. But I imagine that would
Yeah,
be also pretty time consuming.
the delay is well, analog digital delay, so it's not part of that circuit, but the synth is
Okay.
all Arduino base. And yeah, it could change. There could be some providing it fits in with the knob situation that's there. It could it could grow, turn into, improve, turn into other things, whatever.
Well, I could see just like even if you didn't do something where you could like switch out firmwares, but with this like form factor, like kind of make like a series of things that are
Dude,
like this that you could kind of string
you're
together.
kind of reading my mind. Yeah, so I would love to do something that's Hungry Robot does a pretty good job of doing some modular stuff that's like
Oh, those
not
pedals?
it's basic those pedals.
Those are cool.
And
Yeah, I've had a few of those.
and Bastel I think does a good job of just making these really cool desktop things that interact with each other. And so I have been thinking about that, and this is the first step. There's some things to come. There's some exciting things coming up for 2023.
Yeah,
My
I'm
man.
I'm what
Hopefully we do some more pod modding to talk
hell
about them.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Um can you tell me when we're done recording?
Yes.
Cool. Well, so also I think something that excites me a lot about something like the Mystic um, is as far as like what it does and its semi modular capabilities. Like it's one of the most affordable options for people. Like so, like if you're wanting to get into Eurorack or get into modular, like and maybe you have something like a one of those mini brutes or whatever those Arturias that have the CV outs and stuff. Like
Yeah.
you could start with this and go a long ways with it. And just like if you had like a little series, then you could get to a point where maybe you buy one of those small 4MS pods and just get the few modules that you really want and not have to spend $5,000 on a system.
Well, I think that's the great thing about any desktop synth is that you can do that. I think that's the great thing about the Strega. And once again, a lot of that Bastel stuff is just
Mhm.
so um, it's easy to get into and easy to start being creative, uh, fairly cheap.
Mhm.
And I think that, I mean, for what it is, I mean, I was kind of scared about the price on the Mystic because it is more expensive than anything else we offer, I guess, other than the Endless Summer Deluxe.
Mhm.
But it does do a lot for, and it's a great entry into modular and synthesis, and yeah,
Mhm. Well, and just like its portability, the fact that you can use a 9 volt, like you can get all sorts of, little power supplies, battery type things where you can, this
yeah.
big, you can carry this on a plane and you can fuck
It
around on a
does run
plane with
on
this or
nine
whatever.
volt tip negative. So if you have
Tip
received
negative.
one,
Yeah.
we did based on our conversation. It was already in the manual, but and we were printing some cards up for them. So I don't think you got the full retail meal deal with it, but
Hmm.
um, yeah, it's a tip negative 9 volt. We say about 200 milliamps. Um, but yeah, if you have any questions, hit us up on the power supply. We also offer the power supply. That was a weird thing to kind of because we've never really offered power supplies with anything other than like the Endless Summer Deluxe. So
Hmm.
it's like, what do
That's the
we
rack
do?
mount, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
what do we do? Do we have a power supply with it as well? Even because it's just a 9 volt, a standard, like, you could power it from your one spot.
Hmm.
So we decided to just not keep it or not include it. That would help keep the cost down. And then if you need one, you can purchase it separately, and it's pretty cheap from our side.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, those things like they're a dime a dozen. You can find them anywhere. But yeah, it is good. Make sure that you do have the negative because I was an idiot.
Yeah, they're
I
cheap, but
plugged
like
the
if you
positive
plug the
tip
wrong
into
thing
mine.
into it, yeah, you could. And it all there's a voltage regulator in it, so it's going to do is just pop that if you actually damage it. But you don't want to do that though, and
Yeah,
have to
because then you have
fix
to
it.
send it back for repair and or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, you know.
Um,
Yeah,
uh, yeah, but like, so wait, could you? Because I have these like these little barrels with the clips for 9 volt batteries.
yeah,
I
you
could
could
use
use
that with
that
this, right? So
totally.
yeah, just something like that, like super portable. And I'm really into the portable thing. Another reason I'm super into the BeatStep Pro is because it the power supply is a USB cable, so I can just use a little battery pack with that, and I've got a couple of those. Um,
Oh, seriously?
mhm.
I wonder. So the KeyStep Pro, I wonder if it's bus powered. I've never tried that. I always just plug the power supply into it.
Mm.
But
Wait, does it have like a barrel power supply?
yes,
Okay, because
there's
this
a, and
this
there's a
BeatStep doesn't.
the BeatStep doesn't. So how do if you don't use USB power for it, if you don't have it plugged into your computer, can you? Does it take batteries in?
No, there's no place to put batteries in, but just use like USB into your wall wart for USB or whatever. I haven't
Yeah,
tried it with like one of my portable batteries, but I'm positive it would work because I mean I can power my fucking 7U Euro case off of one of my batteries. So,
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I want like also like I mean I'm sure it's like it cuts down massively on cost to not do an enclosure and just do like this kind of like stacked PCB. So you have like your PCB panel and then like the actual PCB in the center and then another panel for your bottom. But like, I just really like the way that looks. I've
Oh, I
always
like the way it looks too.
appreciated that. Like, so is that just
It's
kind of
also
like,
really not just a cost thing. It's just it looks cool thing. Really, I mean, their closures are so cheap these days that I mean, in the big scheme of things, I mean, it's probably I mean comparable.
yeah,
Um,
but
because
then you'd be
one of
drilling
the
out
things about
enclosures.
yeah, well, we get enclosures drilled these days, but the hey, what's up, squirrel? Doot, 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 doot. Um, yeah, the thing about I mean, it's no big deal doing the PCBs, the middle PCBs. They are what they are, but the top and bottom ones, and it's like this for Eurorack panels too. They have to be appearance quality, and
Hmm.
so there's a lot of throwing away.
Hmm.
Uh,
Totally. Yeah.
so it kind of brings the cost up a little bit. So I mean, I probably throw one out for every three. Just
Oh,
first
really?
thing I do when I get those things. Yeah, totally. They're real. Even if you do, I've even tried like bumping up to do appearance grade,
Uh
and
huh.
all they do is they just do that for you.
And
Just
they
throw
just,
out every third one or
but
whatever.
are you still paying for them or?
You're paying for that appearance quality, and it's I think it's much more than what it's worth. I just would just
I
order a bunch
see.
and just go through
Yeah.
and just pick them out ourselves. Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, they're not. When you think about it, I mean, it makes sense. Like they were never made to be doing what they're doing. They're
Right.
like people are doing crazy shit with PCBs now.
Hmm.
It's awesome. It's just like turning it into this like art form of
Hmm.
doing panels and like doing stuff with the Mystic, doing stuff like Bastel does. I mean, we use PCBs for our the panels on our pedals. Um, and I've just been having fun kind of taking that to a new level as well, with holes drilled in the enclosures, letting light shine through for different functions and stuff.
Hmm.
I think is really neat. And
Yeah, I
yeah,
love that. I love that aspect of the Mystic, and then also like the new versions of Cutting Room Floor and Bad Comrade, and having the lights and stuff it's I don't know, it's just like a cool. And I like how they're kind of faint the way you do them. They're not like super bright, so it's just like I don't know. I think it's a little classier that way. Um, but so because you guys have one foot in the guitar pedal realm, and then now have been doing modules for fuck what like probably like 5 years now. Um,
yeah.
and you've been doing pedals for it's got to be getting close to 15 or more, right?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I think super seriously for about 12 years. Yeah,
Okay.
about 2009, 10. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um, Well, I guess where I'm going with this is like because you guys have like you have your following, or people in the guitar pedal world who are into boutique pedals, they know about you. Like, do you feel like some having something like Mystic that is semi modular, takes 9 volt, like have you noticed like any attention from that side of like the musician world taking interest,
I
or?
feel like our base is creative musicians that are mostly using pedals. There's there's Eurorack users as well now. That whole base is growing quite a bit, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think of us as like the the pedal company that is like I mean, I love Strymon stuff. I have a ton of Strymon stuff, but like your typical like uh, you know um, fancy EQ kind of or boutique overdrive pedal
Mm-hmm.
company. We're usually the things that we do that sell well are things that really nobody else is doing. I mean, we have an overdrive, we have the electric. It's probably one of our least selling pedals. The stuff that moves well for us are things like the cutting room floor, Bad Comrade, um, weird creative things,
That's
and
what that's what
so
drew me to you guys,
that
like
is
in the
something that
beginning.
is why the Mystic, I'm really excited about it. It seems like there's those that same type of person is has been excited about the Mystic, and hopefully the pre-sale has been really good, and I hope we sell a bunch of them, and I hope we are able to do more stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see like a little like trio of these, like, you know, this be a voice, maybe some little like drum machine, or and then maybe like something with like a couple dedicated effects or something. I don't know, but I think it'd be
Yeah,
really cool.
I think
Um,
you're speaking we're speaking the same language here.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, my consultation fees are pretty low, and since we're friends, I can give you a discount. Um, oh, so the pre-order, I noticed that you said the pre-order ends. Was it today, the 22nd?
I think it ended yesterday, and it went really well. So it's a normal price right now. So we're just gearing up to get the pre-orders out right now, and
Okay, so the pre-order was a discounted price, but it's not like they're not going to be on sale again until the first. Like they're continuing to be available to buy. It's just you missed out on the discount if you didn't get the pre-order.
yeah,
I see.
and in addition, we're now a couple weeks behind. We're looking to start shipping everything out this week and next week. So probably after that we'll be caught up. And there are stores that will have them. Patchworks it already has them.
Oh,
I
cool.
don't think they're for sale yet. So um, at the regular street price, what's really cool is that there's you know some guitar stores that picked them up. So yeah, like Relic in New Jersey has them. Perfect Circuit will have them. And if you're in Europe, uh, Break the Machine will have it.
Okay, cool.
And I know I'm missing somebody.
Well, I was just
Um,
thinking, I mean, other than
Escape
it
from
being
Noise will
like,
have them too.
okay, other than like, well, actually it's pretty sturdy, but I was thinking like you could even put this on your pedal board and like run it in your chain and then use the push button switch with your foot to like inject it into your guitar playing if you wanted, or something like that.
Dude, you could totally do that when you're thinking about like the Zoya is basically like a mini synthesizer that you can do that with.
Mm-hmm.
You see people doing that, but why don't you see people with an organelle on their pedal board? Because you can do the same thing,
Dude,
Um,
yeah. Actually, the organelle was a huge piece of the Kitty Safari puzzle. Because like the whole plan was to try to record Steven's piano improvisations through as many different like crazy effects and everything. So like I had my Euro rack set up obviously to get it through Morphogene and cutting room floor and all that kind of thing. But then I also like used the organelle because it has that built-in speaker and microphone on it. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just used its built. I just put it under his piano, and ran it through whatever that granular thing is, and then I would just like ran like so as Steven's playing, I'm going between all these different devices and like just kind of like turning knobs and adjusting settings to like dial them in. And I had some field recorders in other rooms and shit. But yeah, the organelle is fucking awesome. I love that thing.
Yeah. God, I was thinking about. I've been trying to think of some small things I can bring with me on my trip next week. Obviously, the OP one
Mm-hmm.
goes with me everywhere, even to bed usually. And but yeah, the organelle might be a good one to try to
Do you
slip
still
in
have yours?
the organelle.
Yeah. You've
Yes,
got the smaller one without the speaker, right?
I have the one with the speaker.
Oh.
God, I had the I don't know what they're called, like the first version organelle,
Mm-hmm.
with no MIDI and no speaker.
Yeah.
I think it's just called the organelle, and then I think the next one was called the organelle M.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so I got the organelle M, and I had both of them because I thought it would be useful for because I've been messing around with creating my own patches. So
Mm-hmm.
I had it hooked up to my computer where my Raspberry and all my kind of microcontroller stuff is, and so I thought having just holding on to it would be cool and useful, but it would never was. It just sat in a drawer. So
Yeah.
I gave it to my brother. So
Oh,
my
that's. I
brother's
feel like.
writing stone cold hits with it.
Okay, I was gonna say. I think that would be. I think I would love to see what Nick came up with an organelle. Dude, I haven't talked to him
Totally.
in so long. I feel like I haven't seen Nick. I probably haven't physically been in the same space as him since a downtown show pre-pandemic, and I've maybe texted with him like twice. I miss that guy.
Yeah, I know. I do too. I haven't seen him around for a while. Myself, he was living in my neck of the woods, but
That's what
he
I thought.
moved again.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
dude.
Back
He's
down
living with
south.
Bailey. Yeah,
Oh no
down
shit.
south.
Okay, I haven't
Yeah.
talked to Bailey in a while
So
either.
Bailey's in town, and I want to um, hang out with Bailey. I need to hang out with both of them. So we should,
Dude, if you get something
being that
going,
he's
let me
down.
know.
I was gonna say, like, being that they're down south, we should do something where we meet up around their vicinity,
Mm-hmm.
and you come up, I go down,
Yeah,
and it's like a party,
a party.
in
Yeah.
Georgetown,
Fuck
Beacon
yeah,
Hill.
dude. I love it. Um, yeah, let's. This is probably the best, most fascinating part for the audience. Greg and I making plans. Um,
Dude, I was just thinking about this. This sucks so bad. He needs to cut this out.
um, there was one more thing I wanted to ask you because we're closing in on an hour, so we got to enter the bonus Patreon section of the show, which is that's where
Oh
the fun
yeah.
really is going to happen. But I guess what do you
Well,
want to scream from? Yeah, is there any? What do you want to scream from the
yeah,
modular
before
mountaintops?
maybe uh, we go into overdrive mode. I would like to mention I create music under the name The Animals at Night. I do have a
Made the
new
theme
release
song
coming out
for the
this next
show.
month. Oh yeah, yeah, and that is so cool. I love it every time that I hear that. It's like, wow, he's still using that. That's rad.
Fuck yeah, dude!
And
That's the theme song. It's never changing.
um, so yeah, new release will be out on Bandcamp this next month, and the Mystic is out and about, and please check it out. It's recoveryeffects.com, and God, what else? I think those are the main things.
Yeah, I want to just tag your animals at night thing by saying like, um, you're pretty prolific. I'd say what probably average two EPs a year from Animals at Night.
Four
Um,
EPs a year is what my goal has been over the last 2 years, and if this next EP comes out in December, that will be the goal met.
okay,
Four
sweet.
EPs a year.
Yeah, you're
But
super prolific with it. They're all
I've been
different
trying to
too.
do
That's
yeah, like I have the habit of working on stuff, and then like, well, it doesn't fit into this lane of this album that I'm working on, and I just let it go by the wayside.
hmm
And a couple of years ago, I decided to stop doing that and finish everything, put them into release like groups on
hmm
Bandcamp, into EPs, um, and just keep working on the dream record. and so this next year, I think I have. So what I'd like to do is take the EPs, pick the best material, um, and there'll be unreleased material as well on there, and
Okay.
kind of boil it down into the ideal full length
Okay, that sounds cool. Yeah.
that will come out on vinyl, Spotify, all that kind of stuff. And so, but yeah, I mean, that's been the goal the whole time along. But as while I'm doing that, I realized, what, that one EP that I thought was like throwaway material, that's like kind of my favorite one. I should do more stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I might do like a whole another year of like EPs and just messing around. It's been like, there's been, it's been really fun. Uh, Pretty much since the pandemic, it just gave me a whole new life on music. It's been growingly more busy with recovery effects, and at some point I decided that the pandemic would be a great time to do this,
Yeah.
is just stop recording with other people. And so, I mean, what that did in effect was make my studio fun again, and it's just turned it into my
Dude, you need to make
place,
a
and I've
hat.
been make your studio fun again.
Make your studio fun again.
It's been pretty amazing, and I feel like I in a lot of ways I feel like I'm kind of like I did when I was a teenager with my 4 track.
That's awesome, dude. I'm pumped to hear that. Like and I it's as you get older and you get more steeped in gear and like how it goes, like because you're because you're a maker, you pal up with other makers and you do trades and stuff. So like and I people send me stuff. I'm very fortunate that people like you like you give me stuff all the time, and I'm just so grateful for that. So like once you get to that point, there's definitely that like enthusiasm kind of, it doesn't like, it's not like you get bored, but it's not quite as like novel. But I love it when like you do find that one thing that's kind of like, ooh, this is making me excited like I used to get. I love
Yeah.
that. And the Mystic has got like when I first played this at Velocity, I was like, dude, I was like I thought about it for a few days after that, like just like, oh, I cannot wait for that thing to come out. I love it. It's
Seriously, it was
just
hard
yeah.
to judge at Velocity. I was really excited to bring it down there, and then I don't know. I think I'm so overwhelmed. I can't. I get I get easily overwhelmed in situations like that, and I couldn't really tell what people were thinking about it too much.
Yeah, I'm not
And
sure that
I
that's
left
the
kind of
best
thinking that, man,
environment.
I don't. That sucks. I mean, I love that they do that. I love that they do velocity and stuff, but I I want to go walk around and
Yeah.
see other things. Enjoy stuff, and I feel like I'm not the best person to talk about my stuff. Um, I feel a little, you know, like I'm not really yeah, giving it the best when I'm in those situations.
Well, I mean, I think that's whatever truth there could be to that, I think it is amplified tenfold in your own perception of how you see yourself there. I mean, it's different from me because I know you and I know your products and stuff. But like when I tried this, you actually like asked me like, hey, can you just like stay by the booth for a minute? I think you're maybe helping Zara get more stuff or something. So I was like sitting there for a few minutes just like playing it, and it was before like the event really got into full swing. And like I don't know, I was just like, this is cool. And I love that fucking video that Zara made of her sitting down with it for the first time and talking about
Oh
how
yeah, yeah.
intimidated she was with modular, and like just seeing her expression light up when she was like she was genuinely having like a really good time with it. And I was like, we're getting
That was a
close
cool
to getting
video.
Zara into Eurorack. I don't think she'll ever take the full leap, but
I've been trying. I've been trying. But yeah, yeah, it's funny what you remember about something. I've had a lot of people say, "Yeah, I remember that, trying it out at Velocity, and it's really cool." I was like, "Wow, really? Man,
mhm.
I don't
It's such
remember."
a
Like,
whirlwind like when you're there, and
yeah,
especially
this is
for
the
if
weirdest things to
yeah.
remember. I remember like this dude that was that came to check out our booth, but was he got into the mixer, like
Hmm.
the Allen and Heath mixer, and he was like, I realized, dude, I think he might be he's interested in buying a mixer, and he's checking out our mixer. And it's like, he's not even checking out our, and I was just like, okay, whatever. And so I remember that, and I remember being really hungry, and I had like a bag of nuts, and I was just like, I'm gonna fucking eat a handful of nuts. I was like, and somebody came over to talk to me like, no, 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 spitting
Oh
cashews
man.
all over him. Those are the two
Well,
things I remember. Oh, and I remember doing a shot with you and Lisa Belladonna.
oh, that's right. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was a highlight of my night for sure.
Yeah, well,
That
I
was
hate
fun.
whiskey, but she was like, "You're taking a shot of whiskey," and I was like, "Yeah, well, if Lisa Belladonna's telling me I'm going to take a shot of whiskey, I'm going to take a shot of whiskey." Yeah, that was awesome. It was so cool to finally meet her in person. Yeah, yeah, Velocity was
I saw
fucking
her
fun,
at
dude.
well, a couple times at Nam, and
Yeah,
I mean, she'd be doing demos for Earthquaker, and it was just like watching a mini concert. It was so cool.
yeah.
But
I mean, her
but there's
performance
so many
there.
people. I'm sure she doesn't remember meeting me, but but that's I've talked to her there before, and I don't yeah, but just super nice and
Yeah,
talented.
yeah. I mean, like talented on a level where like Velocity had how many people there, hundreds and hundreds of people, and it was like all things considered, if we really had to boil it down, she was the most talented person in the room throughout the day. I'm sure, like I feel like she's like on that special level of like once in a generation talent. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
it's just
there's
yeah,
you don't
bonkers.
see many people like that for sure.
You got a little bit of that too, but you're just constantly doing you're doing so many different things, like you're like you're one of the best singers I know. You're one of the best guitar players I know. You can you design pedals and synths. You can you're a great mix engineer. You've
I'm
got
more of
you're
a jack of all trades but master of none kind of thing. Enough to be dangerous in some
yeah.
well, I mean, I guess I do feel like I'm a pretty good guitar
I
player,
was gonna say you're
and
definitely better. You're not an average guitar player. And I was gonna ask, do you think that's like what you're most proficient at?
yeah, and like the more I kind of went down a modular only hole for a while, like 2016 for a couple of
Mm-hmm.
years, and was kind of reminded, um, I can incorporate some guitar into what I do,
Mm-hmm.
and have it be add value to what I'm doing as like a live set or to recordings, and
Yeah.
that was a huge. I mean, that was cool to be able to just take guitar completely out of it and just focus on synths for a couple of years, but it was a good way to kind of it was just a great learning experience,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, even though I've been into synths for years and stuff, but just fully like focusing on Eurorack for a little while
Me too.
was
And I'm
pretty
actually
valuable,
feeling
I
like
think.
I feel like you and I was just talking with Eli and Annie about this. I feel like all three of us are kind of have reached like a similar headspace where we went into the Euro thing for so long that we're kind of just coming back up for air and being like and breathing in the like desire to play guitar a little bit more. And yeah,
And really, I mean, there's
yeah.
nothing wrong with that at all. Like adding more elements into it is just going to make it more musical.
Yeah, and I think my
I think,
strong suit is like writing. I think I can make cool like soundscapes, but I think my strongest suit as a musician is like actually like writing like tracks that have like sequences, like melodies and stuff like that. But
that, yeah, yeah, I think so too. I think, well, you've been getting pretty, atmospheric over the last 2 years.
yeah, I've gotten very weird, and yeah, I'm just like, okay, it's time to make some music again, and not just like spooky sounds. But um,
I feel like I think it's going to be pretty soon. I'm going to see you actually out there with the Needham case doing a on a river.
nah, he'd kill me. Um, Yeah, he'd kill me if I brought this thing out. But I may be getting sent a new type of thing from him that is a little bit more useful for something like that. But I might have to cut this out of the show. Um, what was the first guitar solo you ever learned?
Guitar solo, guitar solo. I was a big, um, I was a big Kiss and Black Sabbath.
You still rock
Uh,
Black Sabbath a lot late, or I've, I feel like over the like 10 to 12 years we've been friends, that like I feel like every other year you're kind of been like I'm in a big Sabbath kick right now.
Sabbath is one of the few bands that, yeah, all the bands that you grew up with. How many bands can you go back to and be like, yes, I was correct as a kid. That was kick
I've
ass.
thought about that a lot lately, and I've talked about this a lot with you, that I like came like my formative years of like getting into music and being a musician were some really terrible years, particularly for rock and roll, or that kind of so like I don't have many, but there are a handful. I'm like, oh well, I still really like this. So um yeah, so
Yeah, there's
Sabbath,
like
is that
there's
for
Black
you?
Sabbath. Yeah, that's one of them, and one that you could really, growing up in Nebraska, I could, talk to other people about with and stuff. There was some things like I was really into Prince. That was the kind of thing where, as being a young like a metal kid, like couldn't really you can had to hide my Prince records when people
Mm-hmm.
came over because they think it was very cool.
Right, right.
But that's another one that I look back on. It's like, yeah, that was is still really really great. But things like, yeah, yeah, there's some bands that just did not stand the test of time, man.
No, no, lots. Well, it's funny.
It's
There were a few in the new metal, like NU metal scene, that like now that I have the distance, and there's been more like temporal distance and cultural distance from it. It's funny to like see like the poor Deftones being lumped in with like people like Korn uh or like Limp Bizkit. Like Deftones are like, I still absolutely love their music, and not just like nostalgically. Like I don't like keep up with their newer stuff, but when I have listened to newer stuff, I'm like, oh yeah, it's still Deftones, and I think it's really good. And this really surprised me. I actually listened to Mark Maron had the singer for System of a Down on his show, and I was like, well, I know he's super like into like activism and stuff. So like and I'm sure we'll talk more about that than System. And I used to love System when I was a kid, so I'll check that out. And so after listening to that, I was like, this guy's cool as fuck. And I was like, I wonder what like that first System of a Down album sounds like. I wonder how I would hear that now. And I listened to it the other day, and like unironically, like no nostalgia, that album is like one of the fucking best like hardcore like punk metal mashups. Like I think if they would have stopped there, and if it hadn't been like the new metal craze of like Ozfest and all of like that shit being lumped together, I feel like that would have gone down like in history as like a totally different type of album. um it's fucking awesome. It's got so many good songs on it.
Yeah, I hear people say that a lot about those guys. They seem to be, uh, and kind of like post that band, they seem to be really creative and cool. You know,
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Yeah.
like in the way that like Pearl Jam is. Has a lot of respect. I'm not a big Pearl Jam fan at all, but it's one of those bands that, oh yeah, they're pretty cool dudes, and
Mm-hmm.
I they seem to kind of be doing cool stuff still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cake also, I still really love Cake. I know you're not the biggest Cake fan, but I I think yeah, they just like would make a huge radio hit like every 4 years, and then that's what everybody kind of thinks of them as. But their albums are fantastic. But you've never really,
Yeah.
I've finally figured out, like trying to like when I feel like, oh, I'm going to recommend this to Greg. I finally got you dialed in. Like you don't like people who are like kind of trying to be a little bit funny. Like you don't like I feel like like Pavement. You're like, yeah, little too weird. And then like Cake is kind of has some cheeky stuff. And there was another band that I was like, I'm sure Greg loves these guys. And then I was like, but no, they kind of have like jokey stuff sometimes. So I don't think that he would. Which is funny because you're
Um,
like one of the goofiest fuckers I've ever met.
that's funny because I think I like a lot of funny like Electric Six is one of my favorite like funny kind of bands, but they're also um, yeah. I mean, they're you could never take them seriously like you could with Pavement. So I don't hate
Right. I
Pavement.
think
I
that's the
don't know.
thing is
I
like
just
when they're kind of like are mostly like a serious band, but then kind of do some like goofier stuff. Although
well maybe you should send me some tracks. I have
I
some
think I
tracks for
could
you
make
as
you
well.
okay. I could make you a
I
playlist of actually Stephen Malkmus post Pavement because I don't really listen to that much Pavement, but his solo stuff I think is fucking. It's some of my favorite music I've ever heard, and I think some of it, like just guitar wise and everything, that you would be like super into it.
I made a playlist. Send me some stuff. I made a
Cool.
playlist of I usually kind of do like a top 10 of the
Uh
year
huh.
kind of thing. And now that's the end of the year. I've just done that for so long that I thought I would put together a playlist of just my favorite music from over the year, maybe a little bit beyond. Not necessarily stuff that what's up, squirrel. It's fucking
Dude,
trying to get
like this is the second time we've
trying to
had you on, and
crawl.
squirrels have made
This
an
is so
appearance
crazy.
since.
What's up, bud? Hey, so but just it's it's like 4.5 hours of just
Oh
great
shit! Well,
stuff.
actually, I think I want to do something like that. Let's trade our favorite of the year lists.
Let's do.
All
Let's
right,
do.
that
And
sounds
not
like fun.
necessarily things that came out this year, but things I've discovered, I've
I love
been
that
really
even more.
into.
Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and not that there's anything wrong with the top 10 list and but I just wanted to do something different, this year.
yeah.
Not that anybody pays attention to it. It's just a
It's
fun
fun.
thing for
I feel
me.
like it's fun to do. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
just to like put it on shuffle, you know,
I've really
when you're
been getting
doing chores or
into
something.
sharing more music over the last like that's another thing that the pandemic did for me was because I really dropped out of like listening to the news because I just couldn't deal with it anymore. Just like
Yeah.
kind of current events, like where I used to, I think, listen to more podcasty stuff. I was like, I'm gonna start listening to music,
Hmm.
and so yeah, it's just like one of those things that uh, you do what you do what you're used to, and I now that I'm into listening to music, I have like a set routine where I'm just like okay, I seem like I share more stuff with people, and I enjoy more stuff, and
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. Well, now I'm excited to make that playlist and share it with you because I feel like I've found some maybe not even like new stuff, but either found stuff that was new to me or like some of my favorite people have released some new stuff this year that I really like. Um,
Dude, I
they'll
will hook you up with some peanuts in probably like 5 minutes, I swear.
All
Can
right,
you
I'm
give us
gonna
a
get.
rundown of can you give the Podmod viewers a rundown of what's on your wall back there? You have I noticed the Les Paul, but then you have is it the silver tone?
Yeah, I've got the Dan Electro like Silvertone reissue.
Okay,
Um,
I got
and
that. That's cool. I've seen that before. And then
yeah,
to the left of the Les Paul, you have your jazz bass.
that is a jazz bass. Yeah, that's one of
I
the
know that
new
one.
Mexican. What are they? The Player series? Is that what they were calling them? Like
Play it.
the Playa series? Yeah, when the
Yeah,
Mexican made ones like really bumped up in quality. Um,
yeah, yeah. They're making some good Mexican guitars and basses. I think
I love
they
this
always have
thing.
actually.
I actually, I was gonna text you the other day because I guess I don't need to show you, but I just bought like I bought a micrometer and like the calipers and like all the little shims and everything for setting up guitars and basses because like
Oh, cool.
my little classical guitar, like I want to like file the bridge down a little bit, get the action a little better, and get the intonation a little better. And then I got some labella flats because that's the second pair of strings that I've ever been on that bass that that they're flats, but they're not. After playing David Lutz's, I was like, "What are these?" And he's like, "Those are the labellas," and I'm like, "That's what I want." But I don't want to put them on until I was gonna like have it get. I was gonna have it set up and put them on, but then I just like I was like, "Well, I'm gonna see like I know I could learn how to do this." And I watched some videos, and it's like, yeah, I could totally learn how to set up my guitars. And so, yeah, I'm hoping that I'm going to get into that and get kind of good at it. Do
Yeah,
you set your stuff up?
it's I do, and it's something that I had to kind of that I just fell into over the years. Like I kind of never really trusted myself for a long
Mm-hmm.
time, and then just like getting stuff back from uh, getting set up, it's like, man, I kind of want. I would, really like this a little bit different, and just kind of YouTubing and just like the same way that you would, learn how to fix stuff on your house or your car
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. Started doing little adjustments, and I pretty much do everything these days. I don't think there's, and now that I've you know I've been into building this guitar, there's things that I'm just like, you know uh, I feel like I really understand it a little bit better than I did a few years ago. I don't feel it's you know I don't think it's anything you should be afraid of. Dig into
That's
it,
what they
do
all
it, and
said on the videos. Yeah. Like, they're like, you're not going to fucking break it. And like, if you don't do it right, like, you just do it until it's right, you know?
it
And then,
feels really weird at first when you're doing like truss rod adjustments and
yeah.
you're just like, I'm gonna fuck this up so bad that it's not gonna really play right ever again. And
Hmm.
it's I mean, it's not really the case. I mean, unless I
I
think
think
you're
you'd
gonna be
really have to
fine.
reef on it. Yeah. And,
You can always take it into a professional if you fuck it up too much.
right, right. Um, okay. So I've got these 3 questions, that I'm doing for the bonus questions.
Oh, cool.
They're philosophical questions, but I want to I want to keep the same questions in the rotation for a while because I'm going to get different answers from every person. And I'm very excited to see what your answers are. Um, so the first one is, does the vastness of space impact the way you perceive yourself? All right, that's our show. Thank you so much to Graig for coming on. Don't forget to check out the Mystic, super cool little desktop synth. Also, thank you to Novation. I'm loving the Summit. I cannot wait to get it out in the wild. I got to figure out my power supply. Thank you to Patchworks for their continued support, patchwerks.com, Afterlater Audio for their continued support. And thank you for your support. If you would like to head over to patreon.com/Podular Modcast, you can get all the really cool bonus content that's going to be coming out. Bonus episodes, cool video stuff maybe of me being an idiot. What else? Thank you to Board Brain. Please check out their stuff. And For a Mess, I cannot wait to dive deeper into all these modules that I got. What else? Don't forget about the remix competition, and very importantly, please make me some holiday music. We need some holiday music for our PodMod Holiday Extravaganza. And I think that's about all I got for you, so until next week. I didn't like that. I'm going to try that again. I think that's about all I've got for you, and until next week. I would like to say thank you to everybody who supports the show on Patreon. It really means a lot to me. If you would like to head over to patreon.com/Podular Modcast, you could really change my life.